Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting this question quite a lot, but what about the Mp7? Is it better than the Mp5? Which MP should I use? Why is everyone using the Mp5? I feel so good with the Mp7, it's a laser. We're going to be talking in this video about the Mp7. Why is it good? Why is it bad? What is it good for? And how would you use it the most effective way from a statistical standpoint and from a realistic gameplay standpoint? So again, we're going to be deep diving the recoil patterns. We're going to be looking at the TTK charts, at which foregrip might be the best or not for the gun. And we're going to see how it would perform pretty much against the Mp5 from all these perspectives on, and what you're going to use pretty much the Mp7 for. Enjoy the video. Left we get the Mp7, right we get the Mp5. So let's look at the base damage values. So the Mp5 does 49 head, 34 chest, 34 stomach, and 30 extremities, where the Mp7, as you can already see, does 40 head, 25 chest, 25 stomach, 22 extremities on the 0 to 10 meter range. But the gun has a 950 rounds per minute, where the Mp5 has a lower fire rate. Again, I do believe that the fire rate of the Mp5 is actually the reason why the gun is so good. The ADS speed is more or less the same. There's not much difference to be made. The movement speed is also the same. Actually, you do move faster with the Mp7, which is quite a surprise for me. I always thought the Mp5 is the faster moving gun. Also, the base hipfire spread of the Mp7 is lower, which is kind of not an advantage for the gun, but you'll see that as the video goes on. If we look at the ranges going further, you can already see, look at that. The gun drops like 5 damage points, right? On the next range. But the Mp7 goes from 34 down to 25. And as we go further, already down to 22, only drops 2 damage points. 25 meters and above, 19, and that's 16. Obviously, the headshot value here stays really nice on the Mp7. Pea shooter on 21 meters plus. But realistically, the Mp5 might do the one or the other damage more, but the Mp7 actually loses way less damage over range. But again, in the 0 to 10 meter range, just from the mere damage values, you would get shat on. Let's look at the time to kill charts here right now. Let's look at the Mp5 versus the Mp7 here. So we have the Mp5 with the absolute killer time to kill, which goes up to 10 meters. It's like a brilliant 527 millisecond time to kill. The Mp7 has like 40 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds higher, but as you can see, due to the attachments and the gain you get from the monolithic and the recon barrel, because you're actually adding the monolithic and the barrel, whereas for the Mp5 you use the integral monolithic barrel and you can't actually gain more range. So 10 meters is really the killer range, and then already afterwards, the time to kill up to almost 20, let's say 16 meters, is better from the Mp7. But then again, when we go to 20 safe call, the Mp7 is kind of worse, considering that after 16 meters. And from 20 meters on, it's completely better. So this is the sweet point here, kind of, where you would say the Mp7 dominates the Mp5. Because from that point on, it's significantly better. What does that tell you? Inside buildings, it might not be absolutely perfect, but outside buildings, it also does good. So it's like a hybrid weapon. That yells for me, hey Pony, Mp7 and sniper, Mp7 and sniper. Because you pretty much have a mid-range gun that has an okay-ish time to kill for up to 30 meters. So that from 30 meters on, you would use your sniper, K9, HDR, AX50, whatever you like. And here comes also an interesting thing. If we look at the headshot multiplier now. Damn, son. Everything looks quite different, right? And that's why I said that the hipfire spread of the Mp7 doesn't matter. Because the gun is ultimately made to hit headshots and do the damage over that. So if we consider that you would actually hit headshots, the time to kill is more or less the same in the short range. And then on every single range, the time to kill of the Mp7 is better. So what you're trying to get with the Mp7 is a relative stable spray. And then you're going to go for the head on any range to try to melt these people down. And that's where the gun is good and bad at the same time, because the damage is insane if you hit headshots. What does that mean for your gameplay? So when you're playing this gun, the MP7, you got to really learn to always aim for the upper body, for the head pretty much. But if you aim at least for the neck / the shoulder area, then your initial recoil will do the rest for you. Plus, you then just get to drag down, or the person is going to be like doing some crouching, bunny hopping, walking back out of your distance. So when you start shooting, and you would actually start shooting in the shoulder to neck area with the gun. You see where the initial recoil brings you? Just some bullets. If we shoot in the headshot area straight away, I mean, yes, sure, you can straight up pull down. But you see the difference here. When you start shooting in the neck area, we just let that travel up, you know? Just shoot and let it travel up a bit. And let those headshots dink in. Whereas, yes, obviously we can aim on any distance straight on the head. But as you can see, the head, tiny target, tiny target, tiny target. So if we would aim straight for the head here, we don't know where that lands. But if we just go for the neck, from a feeling perspective, right? And then we just go in again and check the whole thing. And we just have that going up. Whereas you're more likely to miss shots to the head here when you're actually trying to straight up go for the head. Obviously, the more stable you get, the better you get with the gun, the more used to get to the gun, the better this whole feeling gets for you. But that's pretty much what you get to do with the MP7. You're close up, you're coming around a corner, you see your opponent, your first reaction would probably be big body mass. But you gotta go around the corner, jump, and then have that pull it up for you. Get him down, get him melted. Obviously, the biggest problem is when you're gonna do dub. And also the problem comes in when your opponent does this. And you need to hit headshots. That's like the hard part with the MP7. Let's look at the base MP7, the base MP7 recoil, no single attachment on the gun. We're going to hit 40 bullets straight in the wall and see what the gun does. Now we can already feel relatively stable going from left to right. What we can really see here, there is some horizontal deviation. So commando foregrip might be it over Merc foregrip. We have quite some vertical recoil. Let's see how that looks like when we're trying to cluster the shots. I'm also going for a further range here because we're going to consider we're going to want to use the gun on a further range plus a sniper. So we're going to try to control just a bit. And you see, like, we had in the beginning these shots that completely went off because of the initial recoil. I'm going to actually do that again and see how that feels. It's just me not being used to the gun. Let's be fair on that one. So you have some vertical and some horizontal spread. It's already without attachments, relatively clustered together. So our job would be now to get a little bit of horizontal and a little bit of vertical spread attachments together to then make the MP7 feel better. How will we build the MP7 now to fight that recoil? So obviously we want to put on a monolithic suppressor because we've seen the gun wants to be used at range, mid-range to short range. It wants to be paired with a sniper in my opinion. We do the recon barrel because maximum damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. On top of that, I do use the tag laser because the aim down sight speed into headshots seems very important. And here comes the question that we have to test now. Commando, Merc, or Ranger foregrip. Which one is the best? Which one does the best from these grips? We're going to start with the Commando first because we want to fight the horizontal deviation. But the Ranger foregrip can also fight the horizontal deviation plus vertical. And the Merc is obviously really good against the vertical in total. But then the Merc gets silent nerfed recently and the movement speed get taken away. So we're going to start with the Commando and see what the verdict is later plus a 60 round mag. That would be my MP7 build to play and to bang out with. Definitely share in the comments below if you do have complete different MP7 builds that I should test on stream and give you a verdict on later too. Maybe you've been dabbling with even more aiming stability and I'm going to be absolutely bamboozling surprised on what you do have to offer there. Now, this is the build I just showed you. Let's see how the first 60 bullets behave into the wall. And damn, the vert recoil gets squashed and I can already feel that the horizontal recoil kind of non-existent. Yep. So the horizontal recoil that we had, the horizontal deviation, gets super side to side squashed together. And the vert recoil definitely went down. How's it now if we want to control the gun? We want to feel the gun. We're going to be trying to shoot between these dummies here. And the gun feels absolutely stable. We still have the vert recoil, but that's pretty much just getting used to the gun. That's just getting used to the gun. We're also going to test now how the Merc foregrip behaves in comparison to this, because the Merc foregrip has more vert recoil compensation, whereas the Commando foregrip obviously has with the horizontal. So the horizontal is gone, but is it so bad? Is it better technically if we actually have more vert control than we actually do have horizontal control? Technically, vert you can actually control yourself. Horizontal you can't control yourself. So you kind of need the horizontal. But now let's see Merc foregrip compared to Commando foregrip. Before we test out though the Merc foregrip, I wanted to check out the Ranger foregrip as an alternative to the Commando. How much the difference is here palpable, how much the difference is here feelable. And we can already say, like you see it very simple here, the horizontal deviation is more, but the vertical deviation is less. So vert went down when we spray, but horizontal went up. But how does the spray feel now if we're trying to control it? If we're trying to keep it on point? And I have to say, it's tremendously easier to control the vertical recoil, but the horizontal recoil is higher. Now it comes really down to a personal preference basis for you. What do you feel more comfortable with? Do you feel more comfortable with trying to control this and having the deviation the gun offers? Or do you rather care for being able to get rid of the vertical recoil? Now let's also slap on the Merc foregrip in comparison to this. Now Merc foregrip in action. You really feel without the Commando foregrip and without the Ranger foregrip that the horizontal deviation is just way higher. Yes, the vertical goes down, but while you're shooting the gun, you can feel the wobble of the gun. Like it's like you're shooting like this. That's the feeling with any grip but Commando / Ranger for me straight away on the gun. And then if you're trying to control the spray, if you're trying to put 60 bullets straight up in, we're actually good. It feels decent. It feels like the Ranger. I have to say the Ranger felt a little bit better than the Merc, and since the Ranger got silent nerfed, the Merc gets silent nerfed now, and the movement speed got actually taken away, I would definitely prefer the Ranger foregrip over the Merc foregrip, but probably the Commando over the Ranger and the Merc for the MP7 at this point. So after testing all these recoils with the different grips, Commando foregrip personally still felt the best for me because the iron sight didn't wobble as much. Second runner up, the Ranger foregrip. Definitely have to test that more, especially on higher ranges to see how good the Ranger does, because technically it's the standard foregrip improves vertical recoil and stabilizes weapon while aiming for improved long range combat. Technically. But also it adds some ADS frames, even though the gun has low ADS frames, which the Commando foregrip doesn't. That comes down to personal preference, I guess, end of the day. I don't think Merc foregrip is it anymore. I used to use Merc foregrip on every single gun because of the bonus movement speed. But at this point, I would be going for Ranger or Commando. What's the verdict on the MP7 now? The gun is fun. The gun does damage. The headshot multiplier is insane. The ADS speed is nutty. You move really fast with the gun, even faster than the MP5. But inside a building, if you meet an MP5, if you don't hit a single headshot, you're going to get murked by the Mp5, especially considering that the Mp5 has a complete hipfire build where it can just jump in a room, you stand in front of it, and it doesn't even have to ADS. So great ADS time you have there if the Mp5 does not have to ADS. And the advantage of the Mp5 is obviously just bunny hopping around a corner, hipfire build, whereas the Mp7 bunny hops around a corner, has to ADS more or less in, has to try to hit a headshot to get you down. Then again, the gun is really nicely to be paired with a sniper, where pairing the MP5 with the sniper is always a tricky part because you have pretty much the long range to mid range and you have the short range, but you're kind of like in these sweet spots in between where you're then whooping out your MP5 and he's like, oh my god, he's at the end of the street, and you're like, he's not dead, boys. He just came around the corner. So that's your big problem with the MP5 there, where the MP7 is just like, oh yeah, he's on the street. 3 headshots dead. Completely melted that Boston. So the MP7 is definitely for your playstyle, considering also where you are on the map. Like if you like downtown, maybe MP5 might be better. If you're going to be fighting around like superstore, airfield area where you often fight from like bunker to bunker, from air hangar to air hangar. If you're fighting upstairs, military base area with your sniper and your MP7, you might be better in these areas with the guns because yes, your loadout also matters to where you play on the map. Where you like to be, how the zone is, that's also a very important part. So I would say pair the MP7 with the sniper, not with an AR, and you're going to have great success. But obviously be careful, be mindful inside of buildings. Try to get those headshots, try to aim for this line here. You know, try to aim for this. Get into the headshots. Obviously aim for the head. If he's standing right in front of you, just shoot him right in the head. But if he's a bit further away, like try really to shoot him like in the fucking throat instead of here. If you try to shoot up here, you're not going to do yourself a favor with the vert recoil and the high fire rate of the MP7. But if you shoot him here, you're just going to be murking him, melting him, completely getting him down. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. This explained part, the explained series has been one of my favorite pet peeves to put out there to get you really these amazing gun builds, to get you the gun feeling behaviors, recoil control patterns, and everything in. I wish you a wonderful good day. I hope to see you soon in the Warzone. I hope to see you use the MP7 to great success. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget the live stream from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. CET on Twitch TV Ponyhof every day apart from Saturday. Have a wonderful goddamn day.